3D luggage scanner could expedite airport security lines. CBS News reports the TSA is working with American Airlines to bring about a new scanning machine that may change the experience of security lines for many travelers. Travelers in the U.S. have become accustomed to long TSA lines where shoes and belts are removed and smartphones are placed within X-ray machines, among other things. Fortune reports X-ray machines may soon be replaced with a CT or computed tomography bag scanning machine, which would create 3D images of the contents within a piece of luggage. This way, passengers would not be required to take anything out of their carry-on baggage, as the machine would be able to see through it. CBS News reports TSA Administrator David Pekoski describing the technology as revolutionary. The machine would allow officers to directly zoom in and rotate the 3D image, which reportedly would be much better at detection. Pekoski also said that in around 5 years, they expect passengers to not have to remove any items from their carry-on bags. More stories related to airports.
Dutch researchers propose circular airport runways. Scientists in the Netherlands are working at the country's aerospace center to develop circular airport runways. Researchers at the Endless Runway, a project funded by the European Commission, believe circular runways could have several benefits, including being more environmentally friendly and less noisy. The group proposes constructing a 3.5-kilometer wide circular runway with banked sides, divided into 18 runway segments, with the airport terminal in the center of the circle. The length of the circular runway would be equal to 3 straight runways, while being able to handle the air traffic of 4. Circular runways would allow planes to land and take off at any point in the circle. Pilots would be able to land in directions with the most favorable weather conditions, while avoiding difficult maneuvers in situations such as strong crosswinds. The circular design would also mean aircraft coming into land circle the airport fewer times, thus using less fuel. The design allows for 3 planes to land and take off at the same time. Because of centrifugal forces, planes would automatically go slower and move toward the center of the runway. Circular runways could also limit noise pollution by spreading it more evenly around the airport. The U.S. military conducted tests in the 1960s with circular runways, but commercial circular runways have never been built. Mom angered by son's TSA pat-down. The mother of a disabled boy says her son is still in shock after he was put through an overly thorough airport security check. Mom Jennifer Williamson posted this video to Facebook on Sunday. It shows her son Aaron being patted down by a TSA agent in the security line at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. As you can see from the video, the official appears to pat the boy down in several areas more than once, and it makes for some pretty uncomfortable viewing. In an accompanying post, Williamson accused the TSA of treating her family like dogs and traumatizing her son. Williamson says Aaron has sensory processing disorder, a condition that causes sensations to be incorrectly processed by the nervous system. This can lead to someone with SPD feeling distressed or having inappropriate responses to being touched. With that in mind, Williamson said she asked officials not to pat down her son. She said he passed through a metal detector without the alarm going off, but the TSA agents went ahead anyway. A livid Williamson said her son still doesn't understand what he did wrong. What's more, the process resulted in the family missing their original flight. The video has been viewed more than 4 million times on Facebook. And while some online commentators said the TSA agents were just doing their jobs, the overwhelming response was one of anger. Some of the milder comments said the pat-down went too far. Others, however, questioned the mentality and the motivation of the official seen in the video. Some might say this kind of invasive security check is an unfortunate but inevitable procedure that reflects the times we live in. Others may argue that a climate of suspicion and fear that leads to searches like this means the terrorists are winning. So what do you think? Is Jennifer Williamson overreacting, or is something truly sinister going on here? This is what the airport of the future might look like. A UK company has released a concept of what airports will be like by the year 2040, and they look a whole lot more efficient and passenger-friendly than today's airports. In the future, airline passengers will be expected to check in via self-service desks, which include biometric scanners that can scan passengers' facial features, iris patterns, and fingerprints in order to verify their identities. After check-in, a biometric token will be issued and stored in the passenger's smartphone.
This serves as a boarding pass and ID. Luggage can be checked in at drop-off points. Laser molecular body scanners can detect even tiny quantities of dangerous materials in the passenger's clothing or their luggage without the need for a body search. Passengers may buy duty-free goods from virtual shopping stations and have the goods delivered to their homes. Airports in the future may need to expand their runways and parking facilities to cope with the increasing size of aircraft and the number of passengers. Airport control is likely to be operated remotely from outside the airport, with staff monitoring live video footage of the facility. Upon arrival, passengers will be notified when their luggage is ready for collection. When an airport enters the full self-service phase, passengers will get help from virtual assistants. And in fact, many such technologies are already being implemented. For example, biometric scanners are currently being trialed at Heathrow and Schiphol airports.
2 passenger jets in close call at Chicago Airport. 2 passenger jets narrowly avoided a collision on Tuesday evening after they attempted to take off at the same time on intersecting runways at Chicago's Midway International Airport. A Southwest Airlines flight heading to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and a Delta Airlines flight heading to Atlanta nearly collided at Chicago's Midway International Airport on Tuesday. Southwest Airlines Flight 2838 was cleared for takeoff on runway 31 Center just before 7:40 p.m. As the plane began to speed down the runway, Delta Airlines Flight 1328 began its takeoff on runway 4 right without clearance. Airport controllers spotted the trouble and ordered the Delta plane to stop immediately. The Southwest plane also chose to abort its takeoff. The aircraft stopped more than 2,000 feet from the runway intersection. The FAA is investigating whether the similar flight numbers of the planes may have contributed to the close call.
Mix-up sends plane into the path of another aircraft. A directional mix-up by an airline controller at Los Angeles International sent one plane flying toward another last week. An EVA Airlines flight bound for Taipei, Taiwan, departed LAX early Friday morning and was told by an airport controller to make an 180-degree left turn. But she actually meant right. Whoopsie! This sent the aircraft north toward an Air Canada plane and dangerously close to the San Gabriel Mountains. However, to the air controller's credit, she quickly realized the gaffe and managed to tell the crew, who got the plane back on track. As you'd expect, the Federal Aviation Administration is on the case. They say both aircraft remained the required distance apart, but they're still trying to determine how close the EVA plane came to the mountains. The required height is at least 2,000 feet. Either way, the plane was low and loud enough to startle residents in the San Gabriel Valley when it flew by last Friday morning.
Why is Finnair weighing its passengers? Finland's largest airline is now weighing its passengers, but not for the reason you might be thinking. Finnish flag carrier Finnair has begun conducting voluntary passenger weigh-ins at Helsinki Airport. Only 180 have volunteered so far, but the airline hopes to weigh as many as 2,000. The aim of the weigh-ins is to update the estimates being used to calculate total weight, since this is used to forecast payload and fuel consumption. Finnair is currently relying on 2009 data from the European Aviation Safety Agency, which lists 85 kilos as the standard weight for males, 67 kilos for females, and 31 for children under 12. But these weights often vary under certain conditions. Men in first class tend to weigh more than average, while the opposite is true for females. Carry-on luggage weight also fluctuates and is heavier in winter than in summer. Finnair claims surveying its mix of travelers will generate more accurate data that's specific to their airline. It plans to continue with the weigh-ins through spring of 2018.